we have been discussing on this particular day where Nigeria actually pauses to celebrate and also remember those who have paid the ultimate price. But today, we pause as a nation to remember courage, sacrifice, and service, which is etched in honor. From battlefronts past to security challenges of today, the Nigerian Armed Forces stand as sentinels of our sovereignty. Across generations, the strength of a nation is measured not only by its borders, but by those who defend them. Men and women who answered the call to serve, often at great personal costs. They marched so we could stand. They fought so much so that the nation could endure. Today, we remember their stories, not in silence, but in gratitude. On this 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, the Nigerian Television Authority brings you a special program that reflects on sacrifice, celebrates service, and looks ahead to the evolving role of Nigeria's armed forces in securing our future. Anywhere around the country and around the world, this is the Nigerian Television Authority. We thank you for joining us. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. I'm not alone in the studio here in Abuja. I have with me Major General Abdulmalik Jibrin, who is the immediate past National Chairman, Nigerian Legion, and currently the Secretary, Civil Defense, Immigration and Prison Service Board, Abuja. Thanks so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Ayodeji.
It's another time to really reflect on the service of our fallen heroes and also celebrate those who are still keeping the Nigerian unity alive.
Absolutely, thank you.
And virtually from the beautiful city of Jos is General Jonathan Temlong, who is the first commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, former president, Alumni Association of National Defense College, and is also a security consultant. He joins us virtually. General, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, so we'll be having a very good conversation here in Abuja as we connect with different centers or outstations to feel the pulse of the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day nationwide. Also, our correspondents are stationed at the National Arcade here in Abuja, where we expect to have the feel of what is actually ongoing there. But let me start with you, Major General Abdulmalik Jibrin. Today is not just it has gone beyond an annual ritual. It's a time for sober reflection and also celebrate those who are still in the battlefront day in, day out. So let me have your thoughts, sir.
Thank you very much, DJ. Let me see the opportunity to also wish my very senior Oga, General Temlong, compliment of the season, and to all Nigerians. Today, we are marking a day to celebrate and also commemorate our colleagues who have, in most cases, many of them have made the supreme sacrifice, and quite a number are still living. So today is marking both a celebration and also a commemoration. It has always been like this, and it's a moment that brings the memories of the past in terms of sacrifices, the present situation in terms of security challenges, and the effort the armed forces are making to ensure that Nigerians are safe and go on their normal duties. Particularly, this day is set aside by the federal government of Nigeria, and it's a day that Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, always emphasize the commitment of the government towards ensuring all necessary support to our serving colleagues, while at the same time looking back to those who have made the supreme sacrifice and those who are still living, and their welfare is equally being looked at. So it's a day full of a mixture of both ceremony and also a solemn reflection of those who made the supreme sacrifice.
Well said, General Abdulmalik Jibril. Now let's go over to Jos, where General Jonathan Temlong. It's another year, General, and I could remember having a conversation with you last year on this particular day. It's interesting to know we're not only remembering them, we're also celebrating those who are still keeping us together when it comes to our national territorial integrity. Let me have your early thoughts, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I think what my friend and brother General Abdul Malik Jibril has told you is apt. This day used to be celebrated on the 11th of November, 11/11, until during the Murtala Obasanjo regime, that it was decided that we should celebrate this date on the 15th of January, the day that actually the Nigerian Civil War officially ended. That to us, even though we had a lot of Nigerians that participated in both World Wars, World War I and World War II and other UN operations, to us, the day 15th January was quite significant because it's the day that the Civil War officially ended. So we moved that celebration to this day. And like he rightly pointed out, it's not just to celebrate those of us who are living, but those men and women that we commanded that lost their lives in the line of duty, to remember them. It's quite essential and important for a nation to be able to do that, because if you put your citizens or your soldiers in harm's way, you should be able to appreciate their sacrifices. And that keeps those who are there serving now to know that, look, whatever happens, they are being remembered. And it's quite important because it's a very important morale boosting element. However, it's quite saddening too to know that only in Nigeria here that you find out that the civil population that are supposed to appreciate what the armed forces are doing and what they have done is quite oblivious of what is going on. If you go to the streets and the marketplaces, all one knows is business as usual. I'm sure if you observe, when you watch the CNN, BBC, Sky News, and all other international news media, including the football matches abroad, once it is getting to 11th November, you see them wearing their poppy, and even before they start matches, they blow the last post for them to remember those who have fallen. It shows a grateful nation. And I think we need to do that and echo it in our national psyche that, look, something has to be done in that vein. At 11 o'clock in the morning on the 11th, the air raid sirena rang in all the cities in Europe, America, and the rest. And at that time, everybody on the street, you are driving, whatever you are doing, you stop and observe a minute's silence in remembrance of the fallen heroes. And that shows a grateful nation. And I think we need to start doing that one too, so that it will show the citizens or those who are intending to join the armed forces that, look, even when we join and something happens, a nation is grateful. And I think we need to go beyond the parade. Yes, the president, commander-in-chief, that's the government itself. The legislature, the Senate president, the speaker, the chief justice, and the rest, they go and lay a wreath at the arcade, which is quite an honor to us. But those are the heads of government, yes. But what about the citizens? There should be a grateful citizenry to show that, look, those of our children who have paid the supreme sacrifice are there. They have missed birthdays of their children, their wives. They have not celebrated birthdays. I'm telling you, the weather in Jos is quite cold and harsh. They are out there trying to keep us safe. If you go up to the Lake Chad Basin now in Sambisa, in Maiduguri, early in the morning, it's fantastically cold. The mosquitoes are as big as flies, and all these men sleep there day and night to keep us safe. The same thing if you go to the forests in Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Kaenji, the hills of Jos, the forests of Makodi, the forests of the west, east, and then the swamps of south. You have men and women that are deployed, having sleepless nights, that we should sleep in our rooms and talk in the comforts of our comfort zone. So a grateful nation must come out to say, thank you and well done for what you are doing. Thank you to those who have paid the supreme sacrifice. And thank you for our children whom we think will come in to continue with the good works that their forebears have done. I think that is the way to galvanize a nation and to galvanize what we call in military strategy as the national will, which is a sine qua non to battle success. Because if you have your whole nation behind you, you know that the men will fight. They will fight and damn any consequences. Once one is falling, the next are moving. So we need a grateful nation. We need people to show us that they are grateful. And I think we will continue in the course to show what corporate Nigeria need to do. There has been a very viral video going out when Abdul Samad talked about giving millions of dollars to the Super Eagles if they win the match. People were asking, who has ever promised Nigerian armed forces that they are going to give them millions if they win any operation or if they defeat the forces and the rest? I think that is a very germane question. It happened during the Civil War, where we had Nigerian breweries were brewing, having beer with the armed forces stamp label on them, specially prepared for the armed forces. Guinness did the same thing, supply hospitals for those who are donating blood. You had the armed forces stamp on label on them, and people thought that if you drink that one, it was blood tonic, as it were. And so people were ready to donate blood to soldiers who had been wounded. And so that was what corporate Nigeria was doing. Individuals were volunteering their vehicles to carry troops to the war front. Some citizens were giving cows for soldiers to be this thing. And I think we need to reenact that to show a grateful nation, a grateful society.
General Temlong,
that appreciate what soldiers are doing out there in the front. Thank you very much.
well said, elaborately said out there, General Temlong, about the essence of today and the reason to really come together, celebrate those who are still alive and continuously remember those who have paid the ultimate price. Now let's bring you voices of some veterans as they share their experiences concerning January 15 here in Nigeria.
There was a call to come and serve Nigeria, that was going said, go on with one Nigeria. And that was what motivated me to join the army so that I can be part of what is trying to defend this country.
During the war, when I was carrying my friend who was killed, along the road, to inside the vehicle, a bullet met me in my forehead, went through the steel helmet, go up and down, and both sides from down my backyard, but nothing affected me. I found myself not able to go back because I was afraid that particular time. When I removed my cap, I saw that it had been damaged.
When I was firing,
Later, I just come see my boot. Blood. Right away. I find out, what happened? I see blood, but I didn't hear anything from my body. I was just feeling correct. So I just hear this thing. I begin the fear don't begin to enter me small because I see blood in my body, in the boot. Then I now trying to clear my face. Then I thought the steelman breach enter where I was shot. Then from there now I hear my eye was trying to turn. Then when my eye started to turn, I come, that place where that they were shoot, I come feel a little pain there. So I now remember that I am shoot. So I now touch my head here. When I touch this place, there was a hole.
We were on the feed when I just see something bite, it be like say something bite me, not knowing that it was the bomb they throw to our location. Something hit. I did not even know that I have sustained a serious injury like that. But when I move, not knowing that blood has spoiled everything, the bullet has teared my jungle boot. I couldn't walk again. Don't believe it was there. They come and carry me. They carry me back to Abuja.
When I saw these wounded soldiers that were brought to 44, some no hands, no legs, some RPG has blocked their ears. We talk and shout, we go close to them, talk, they will not hear. Some are just lying helpless.
I impact my knowledge as a professional mental health person and a social worker to the well-being of soldiers in the front line. Not just the front line, within their trenches. Not just within their trenches, wherever I meet a soldier within the Northeast. All I try to tell you is that this war can be achieved with just being who you are, not contributing yourself in taking anything or allowing yourself for something to control you. But if you control yourself, you get it right. That was the most exciting and interesting part of my job for the 35 years I have joined the army.
I was the orderly to late General Murtala Mohammed, and every day we move from Ikoyi to Dodambara for work. We left this officer region, Ikoyi, 7:15 early morning. Normally, where the mistake comes from, we don't go with escort during this time. So the people, they wear uniform, and on top of uniform, they wear agbada. They came from one masked man, got the driver from a golf field. Behind Dodambara, there's golf field. Get the driver here. And when they start fighting from back, my pistol was because of saluting. We cannot hang our pistol here. They were left. I fell down on top of the driver. The blood of the driver now covered my head. And with the cap face, there's one white like cap face. I have to cover it in my nose. So from there, the same bullet that hit that hit me here. During the operation theater, they removed 8 bullets from my hand. So they are going now, going to NBC for announcement. Then the last person behind look back. They have said that ADC opened the door. By that time, ADC already got to know if you don't open door. If you don't open door, both apart my driver and 3 of us, they will rush all of us to hospital. But because of the open door now, the second firing, I finished over.
It is not easy for you to join the Nigerian, to join the army. It's not a very easy thing because the life of a soldier is quite different from the life of a civilian.
If you are self-centered, the military is not the place for you, definitely. If you don't know what it means to give back, no matter the situation you find yourself, do not join the military. But if you are willing to serve, not thinking whether you are compensated or what, you are welcome. It's a beautiful place to be. For everything my life is, I owe it to the army because I joined them as a young 16-year-old woman. And today, I am still looking forward. The army has been beautiful for me. It might not be 100%, but I don't have a regret.
To be honest, as a veteran, you know, we have retired now. And when I look at the situation of the country, you know, things are very hard. I would have warned the government. I know they are doing their best, paying us regularly as pensioners, but I'm urging them they should do more.
The military authorities on their own are doing their best to say, officers who had served, you know, the system, the military system, should be well taken care of. The government should once in a while, you know, sit back and say, these are retirees, how are they doing? Because inflation, we're in a system today where inflation is biting hard on everybody.
The UN commended us for taking part in so many peacekeeping operations all over the world. We contributed immensely to world stability and world peace. And what we did in Liberia and Sierra Leone was to ensure that the whole West Africa is safe. And when we did Liberia and Sierra Leone, we still went ahead. We did Mali, we did Gambia, we were in Ivory Coast. So all those should translate to what we have to do for Nigeria to make Nigeria safe. If we have done that in the past, we should be able to do it at home.
Quite an emotional moment and touching stories from the veterans there, those who have been hit, those who have a first-time experience out there on the battlefront to ensure that we are together as Nigeria today, that we can sleep comfortably every night with our two eyes closed while they face the rigors on our behalf on a daily basis. Well, Voices of the Veterans just there on the NTA, and it's only on the NTA you can have such a package where people really tell the true story of what they've really been through. Well, let's continue with this, our transmission, and join the National Arcade here in the Federal Capital Territory, where defense correspondent Ismail Musa is there to bring us into what to expect over the next couple of minutes.
Forces of the Federal
at the National Arcade venue of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. The set is set for the event to commence any moment from now. The widows, the veterans, the service chiefs, the chief of defense staff, are all seated, and even the color parties are all set, and any moment from now the event will commence in earnest. And this event is of great significance to the members of the armed forces, the veterans, even to the families of the fallen heroes. You see, it tends to boost the morale of officers and soldiers in various theaters of operation, knowing that the nation, the citizens value and appreciate what they do to allow me and you sleep with our eyes closed.
Well, Ismail, I'd like to thank you for bringing us into that. The setting I can see behind you is a reflection of a solemn moment with those who are already matched up there. But beyond that, what is the general mood of those passing by? We've gotten the view of both General Jonathan Temlong and General Abdulmalik Jibrin. For people to actually pause for a minute and pay respect to these people who we're celebrating and remembering today.
More dignitaries, I'd like to request...
Okay, Ayo, it is important to note that in the past, the event is more of a solemn event. But this time around, it's a double-edged event. While we're honoring, while we're remembering the dead, while we're remembering those who paid the supreme sacrifice protecting Nigeria and Nigerians, it is also important to also honor, remember those still fighting to protect, to ensure peace and unity is sustained in our beloved country, Nigeria. So this year's celebration is quite of great significance to all.
Well, Ismail, I'd like to thank you for bringing us into that. Surely would connect with you when the events commences in earnest out there. Please hold your thoughts, and of course, let us know once there's anything important coming from the National Arcade. Ismail Musa, defense correspondent, thanks once again. All right. That's from the National Arcade there, bringing us to let us know that preparation is actually in top gear, and we expect the commencement, the arrival of service chiefs and top government officials to commemorate January 15, which is the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Let's come back into the studio and have some quick reflection on our discussion so far. Well, I'd like to start with you, General Abdulmalik Jibrin. One touching thing for me is the voices of the veterans. We've seen people, officers, soldiers who have been wounded, who have been shot. And they're bringing the experience to bear. Sometimes it sounds like tales by moonlight when you try to let some Nigerians realize what it means for soldiers to stay out there to keep me and you safe.
Absolutely, Ayo. You see, if you recall what General Temlong said, and what these individuals, narrating their various experiences, it's really sad to see that there is complete lack of sensitization of the general public towards appreciating the sacrifices made by these individuals. You will not be able to appreciate that until a moment like this period of 3 months, October to January 15, the period within which we kickstart the activities that will culminate into the 15 January grand finale, the one we are witnessing today. It may interest you to see that you go to so many public places, you see highly placed individuals, they find it difficult to wear this emblem. In most cases, they don't even know the significance. I have interacted with some people at the airport a couple of times when I was chairman. When I see some of our agents, distributing this emblem and seeking for token donations, they will ask such people, what is this for? They don't even seem to understand the significance and the purpose, not to talk of donating anything towards the cause of the veterans. And there are quite a number of privileges that this individual is entitled to. But as a result of lack of, lack of proper sensitization, public enlightenment, Nigerian veterans are not accorded the right privileges that are given to their counterparts across the world. You need to go to other countries, go to England or United States of America. We have special facilities earmarked for members of the armed forces. Is it supermarket? You get there and purchase at discounted prices, comfortable for you and your family. For what? For the sacrifices you are. At any given time, your life is in danger. You can be called upon any moment to leave your comfort and go and face the challenge. Those societies understand the significance of such sacrifices. That is why they accord their members of the armed forces, both serving and retired, such privileges. The case is not the same in Nigeria. Is it airport now? You want to travel? Is there any discount for you? By any, I beg to make exception. Airpeace, the management of Airpeace, I think need commendation. It's the only airline that realize the importance of giving discount to members of the armed forces, whether serving or retired. Minus that, you don't have any other airline offering such service. You don't go to any supermarket and enjoy any discount. And this is a responsibility that the National Orientation Agency need to pick and emphasize the general enlightenment of the general public to realize the importance and the need to support our veterans. Now, what the general public does not understand is the fact that the moral effect or the demoralizing effect of any statistical attitude towards a serving or retired military personnel. Those who are in the field, who are serving, who are working, who are fighting, are looking very carefully at what is happening to their counterparts who have served and left. This is how they draw their inspiration.
The Honorable Minister of Defense.
So it is very, very important
the CDS,
that government takes a proper step to ensure that members of the armed forces are given certain privileges by virtue of the sacrifices they are making. It will serve to encourage those who are in the field,
and it heralded the arrival
to encourage
of the
families of those who have made the supreme sacrifice, that even though my husband may not be there, the breadwinner is not there, I can still access certain facilities that will make life comfortable for me. So I think I'm an advocate of the need to actually, if possible, stop collecting donations as if we are beggars. Government should make an effort to allocate to the Nigerian Legion a specific budgetary allocation that will cater for their activities to enhance the welfare of members, not to depend on collecting donations year in, year out. In some cases, they look at you as a beggar. So I think it is very, very important that this aspect is given special attention by government.
All right, Major General Abdul Malik Jibrin, I'll come back to you so that we can really continue this conversation. Let's quickly reconnect with defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who has a special guest that really wants to tell a story. Ismail, bring us into this.
Commander, Guards Brigade.
General, the Minister of Defense, sorry, I beg your pardon, General Christopher Musa just arrived a couple of minutes ago. And with me on the stage here is a widow who would like to explain to us what a day like this means to her and her colleagues. It's a pleasure having you, please.
Thank you so much.
Let me have your full name proper, please.
My name is Dr. Nelly Oburo. It's a great day. A bit of a mixture of the sad, not so sad, some, happy that our husbands are being recognized on a day like this, their service being recognized. But even more importantly, it just brings to mind that they served the nation and the nation recognizes their service. It's grateful. We're grateful for today. We're grateful to see that the officers and men that are alive and well and being celebrated. We're grateful that some of us have those who are being celebrated in absentia. So it's a bit of both for me,
Okay, apart from the funfair activities and the fiesta here, what else will you expect from Nigerians, the armed forces, the Ministry of Defense, and the Defense Headquarters with regards to the plight of the widows?
There's a lot going on, but we know there's still room for a lot more to be done. We're grateful for what is being done as it is, as I speak. But like Oliver Twist, we will say there's room for a lot more to be done. And we'll leave it at that. We're grateful for what is being done now.
They say he who wears the shoes knows where it pinch more. Can you specifically pinpoint one area that you feel more attention should be accorded to?
Well, you cannot, I would not exactly say a particular area, because I mean, we're Nigerians. We live in Nigeria. We know what the country is like. Just a little more impact on the life of the families of, we feel their impact, but a little more. We know what would have happened if our husbands were alive, if the father of our children were alive. And so, along that line, we'll just ask for a little bit more.
Distinguished guests,
thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you. And Ayo, you've had it all. What they expect from Nigerians is constant extension of hands of fellowship to their late husbands. And okay, the event will commence in NX proper any minute from now. Thank you, Ayo.
I also like to recognize the presence of the dean.
Right, Ismail Musa, defense correspondent there. Thanks so much for bringing that special guest to your side to tell us her experience, and also on a day like this where the loved ones are not around, but at least it feels good to be remembered and to be celebrated. Yes, the program is still on. We expect live action from the National Arcade any moment from now, because I've been told that the Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa, has arrived. Service chiefs are already there as well. I will expect other top government officials to come in, and then we'll join live feeds from the National Arcade. But before we do that, today, which is a special day, January 15, Nigeria pauses to honor courage, sacrifice, and selfless service as we mark Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, paying tributes to the gallant men and women who laid down their lives in defense of Nigeria's unity, peace, and sovereignty. But beyond the solemn ceremonies and colorful parades, a crucial question remains: how well are these heroes honored in everyday life? My colleague Ekene Ndulwe has packaged a report to that effect.
Solemn ceremonies and colorful parades are holding in honor of fallen heroes, while living veterans are celebrated for their resilience and patriotism. The day also serves as a sobering reminder of the sacrifices made for Nigeria's freedom and the continuing commitment of the armed forces to safeguard the nation amid evolving security challenges. But once the ceremonies end, many of these heroes return to a quieter and often difficult reality. Some retired servicemen, as well as widows and children of fallen officers, continue to struggle to make ends meet. The Nigerian Legion maintains that support for veterans and their families should not be seen as government's responsibility alone, but a collective national duty.
Using this opportunity, I'm not going to mention any name of any big man or any small man. I'm pleading they should please come to the aids of veterans, so that when the people that want to join after that, we know that after the service, I have a home, I have a place, somebody there will look after my children.
Still, there are signs of hope. President Bola Tinubu has on several occasions reassured veterans of his administration's commitment to improving welfare packages and ensuring that no hero is forgotten. These assurances were once again reinforced at the launch of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Emblem Appeal.
As a grateful nation, we must honor the fallen, support the wounded, and care for all who answer the call to serve. My administration has enhanced allowances, upgraded barracks, strengthening health care, expanded defense health maintenance limited services, and modernized pension verification. This reform reaffirms our commitment to dignity, and support for those who serve our nation. I call on every Nigerian to reject divisive rhetoric and embrace respect, tolerance, and understanding.
For the men and women who risk everything in service to the nation, many say true remembrance should extend beyond January 15, reflecting in consistent care, support and respect from both government and citizens. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA.
Well, it's another touching story there to really talk about what veterans are going through in terms of their welfare, what government tries to provide for them. There's still this huge call on the private sector and well-to-do individuals and generally citizens to always give them the maximum respect that they deserve. But as we have continue to have images there from the National Arcade, let me quickly reconnect with General Jonathan Temlong in Jos to weigh into this set of reports that we've seen and the current reality on ground. General Temlong, if you can quickly weigh in before we go to the National Arcade, sir.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. You heard it from some of the veterans who reel out their experiences. Everybody has his. I tell you, it was as if the world was crashing on me when I was signing the operational orders to send my troops into operation. It occurred to me that this signature that I was putting on this paper and then going to deliver that orders to my orders group would mean some soldiers, officers were going to lose their lives in action. And it was so hard on me that the decisions that I took, the courses of action that I adopted, are they the right ones? Could they be the best I could have done? Would they have saved more lives than if I had taken another one? So those are some of the questions that kept ringing in my head as I signed and delivered those orders. And so you could hear some of the veterans, those who are shot in the line, those who are carrying their colleagues who had been killed or wounded, and in the process got shot themselves. And that's what the warrior ethos is all about, that you never leave and abandon your colleague, no matter the situation. And that's what our warrior ethos are all about. And so I think we need special commendation to some of these veterans for what they have done. But you see, like what Jibril told you there, you see, Jibril told you, it's so unfortunate that even when the Nigerian Ministry of Defense and Armed Forces Reforms Committee, which both of us were members, we recommended that a department should be created in the Ministry of Defense for veterans. That's the least that could be done. In other climes, it's a whole ministry that is in charge of veterans. And so unfortunately in this case, up till now, that department has not been created, because once you have a department, budgetary allocation will be made to that department for the welfare of veterans, for their activities.
Your Lordship, the Chief Justice of Nigeria,
you have a situation where abroad, like you rightly pointed out,
like to inform us,
the veteran hospitals are better equipped than the other hospitals, because the sort of illnesses that veterans do go through, PTSD, and the rest are more devastating.
Sorry, General Temlong, I'm sorry, I just have to hold you there because we're having live feeds from the National Arcade, and Senate President Godswill Akpabio just arrived with Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu there to take the salute. So let's cross over now to the National Arcade and have both sight and sound before we come back with continue our conversation.
City.
All right, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu, they're taking the salute. They're doing the salute there for the National Arcade. Of course, we expect more action to come from the National Arcade as we celebrate these heroes of our fatherland, the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If we can reconnect with just now to General Jonathan Temlong to conclude his thoughts so that we can move on to some other issues as it affects the armed forces in the country. General, let me have your thoughts as you conclude the conversation we're having before I interjected.
Thank you very much. Like I was saying, you have special facilities for veterans because they need special cares. If somebody told you you are shot in his head or he had 8 bullets removed from his shoulders, it definitely means that he will require special attention throughout his life because he wouldn't be able to use that arm as a normal human being again. Now, the other thing is like my colleague was telling you in the studios there is that when you have citizens who know that they are grateful for the services, if you travel abroad and they know you're a veteran, the first thing they will say is to thank you for the services you have rendered to your country. I'll give you an example. We were in the hospital with my wife in Abuja there. I don't want to name the hospital probably because it might appear I'm advertising it. But we had a retired officer who served in the British Army and was working in that hospital. The moment she heard my name, she came out and brought us to our office with my wife to wait for an x-ray. And the first thing she said, General, thank you very much for your service to our country. We appreciate what you have done. And that people like you will give special respect and accord here. That's why I brought you to my office to prepare and get your wife x-ray being done. That's what we do out here. And I think because she brought that one from Britain, you could see how excited I was. Now, you see, that's what they do. The first thing they do is to appreciate your service, whether in the hospital, whether in the office, you go to any office, and they know you're a veteran, they thank you for the service. But here in Nigeria, you had a situation, one of those who spoke there, Air Commodore Balogun, you saw the treatment he was given to by FCDA personnel. They cleared his, where he was making ends meet, very disrespectful to people who have served this country. You have had a lot of alterations by ministries or people and the rest who don't even show respect for service. Even by seniority in age, and anybody who is serving in this country is usually younger than most of the veterans that you see talking there. Even by African tradition, you respect the people. But the way they treat people is so devastating. And I believe that we need a comprehensive way of dealing with this situation. And we recommended it in the National Defense Policy that, look, there should be civic education that should be taught from primary to university level, and inculcating some of these best international practices of handling and dealing with veterans, with the armed forces, with communities, building community resilience, building security awareness that we should be able to do. and how these veterans can be used in helping to build community resilience in the various communities that we have. Honestly, if we had used the veterans very well, as it were, the security situation in this country wouldn't have gone so bad as it is. You see people have a very nonchalant attitude to them. After this today, after the parade today, it's going to be business as usual. People are dying there in the streets. The governors are out there celebrating. When they after today, some of them are flying out of their state capitals. The local government chairmen are not there to be seen. You see, they should engage the veterans very well. They are ready to continue contributing to the welfare and security of this country till the day they take their last breath. I think we need to use the veterans very well. We need to appreciate them and use them very well. For us, it's a bunch of knowledge that has been acquired. It's intellectual property that has been acquired by the Nigerian government on us. The training we receive, the amount of money used in training us, the experiences they went through. So people telling you what they went through, you don't buy that in the market. Somebody will tell you, until you go through this, you know what it means. So when somebody sits down and is purely an academic or an armchair strategist, he wouldn't be able to tell you what are the effects of fear, the effects of death on soldiers in the field, the effect of weather, the effect of lack of food, the effect of not talking to your family, the effect of not knowing what is going on with their family. And I'm sure if that widow had told you her experience, because she didn't tell you more, because when my wife was relaying her own experience, that time there were no cell phones, that anytime a telephone rang, her heart cuts, whether there was a bad news coming that I had been killed or wounded. So these are the situations our wives and children went through when we were in service. So you can imagine the sacrifices are not just us, but even our families. So the nation must be grateful, and the citizens must be taught to understand what is going on and realize this. It shouldn't be that people are asking, what are those things for? Puppies are worn even by footballers on football pitches in Europe.
All right, General.
Puppies are worn by newscasters, as you have worn now, which is fantastic for us. And I think, let me appreciate NTA for the very good work people are doing in enlightening and bringing up to fore some of the problems, and even listening, going around to talk to some of these veterans.
All right, General Temlonga, I have to interject now because we are having live feeds from the National Arcade, and the event is set to commence. So let's cross over now from our studio here in the Federal Capital Territory and just go over to the National Arcade, which is not far from our office here, for the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day 2026.
much, Mass Band. Thank you.
All right, I've just been told that it's preparatory to the main event, as the event is not set for full commencement. We're still having some preambles before the main event gets underway. So let's continue our discussion here in the studio. Beautiful setting, by the way, at the National Arcade. General Abdulmalik Jibrin. Just while we had that break, we're discussing the background here, that sometimes it becomes difficult to really face the reality. The moment you enlist into the armed forces, you see a group of young, promising, aspiring people with the willingness to serve. But unfortunately, not all of them will be able to serve, grow old, and become veterans. Tell me how the feeling could be sometimes.
Well, thank you, Ayo, once again. You see, making a decision to even join the military is an acid test, and it's not every growing young person can take that test. I keep on saying the poor understanding, with due respect to our Nigerian citizens, poor understanding of what it means for somebody to stake his life. Staking your life, put it on the line for others. If you translate that to the field, to the war, to the theater, even as we're talking in the Northeast, or all over Nigeria where we have our soldiers operating, it takes somebody who is mad to be asked in a war situation where the soldiers have deployed, have taken cover, and your commander will ask you to make a move from one point to another. Why? Because your commander wants to know where the enemy is. The commander wants to know where is the enemy, so that he will be able to appreciate the ground and direct where a counter-attack or attack will take place. He will ask a soldier, move from one point to another in order to attract fire of the enemy. To attract fire of the enemy. So, in essence, what that means is that that soldier that was commanded to move from one bound to another is being sacrificed, because it's a move that he may or may not return. So if somebody will sit down and analyze and appreciate that level of commitment and sacrifice, then you will be able to appreciate the need and the reason why you must respect any serving or retired military personnel who has voluntarily put his life on the line for others. That's why if they blow a bugle to say people should fall in line, we are going to, God forbid, in case of emergency, you will be able to see the number of people that will join the line. Very few. And those are the, and that's why exactly translating that back to other countries, America in particular. If we get to America, one of the best and the fastest way of becoming a citizen in America is to enlist into the military. That is to show that you have sacrificed the highest thing you can ever for the country. So in that case, you are qualified to get citizenship or resident permit, because that's the highest anybody can offer. And that's exactly what all the military in other nations are. And that's exactly what the military in Nigeria is also about. Sacrifice, commitment, without thinking whether I will come back or not. Coming back to your question, what is it like? When I graduated in 1977 as a second lieutenant into the Nigerian infantry,
This is the moment we have been service chiefs and inspectors
we were
of police, distinguished Nigerians,
in the
ladies
army.
and gentlemen.
My
This is the moment
classmates
we have been
were
waiting
about
for.
50.
Have the singular honor
But I can
and
tell
privilege.
you.
Sorry, General, please, I have to just hold you there because Vice President Kashim Shettima, his motorcade is just driving into the National Arcade there where we expect the event now to fully commence now that we have the Vice President there. Let's go over to the National Arcade for the commentary, sights and sounds.
Of Nigeria will be welcomed by the Commander Guards Brigade. Your Excellency, you are heartily welcome, sir. The Commander Guards Brigade. Your Excellency, you are heartily welcome, sir. Dignitaries, shall we all please rise for the national anthem? Officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you.
2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. From down. 25 officers, 450 members of the Armed Forces and the Legion of Praise. May I have your permission to carry on with the rest of the parade, Your Excellency.
The parade commander, Major Emmanuel Fayon, just reported the state of officers and men on parade to His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. And at the moment, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is now proceeding to the cenotaph for the commencement of the next phase of this solemn occasion, which is the laying of the wreath. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, very senior officer, ladies and gentlemen, any moment from now, the firing party commander, Sergeant Sunday Javan, will march the firing party, accompanied by the dignitaries that will lay wreath this morning to the cenotaph.
We're live.
Your Excellencies, very senior officers, distinguished invited guests, distinguished Nigerians, ladies and gentlemen, we are here live at the National Arcade for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. And what we are witnessing at the moment is the firing party marching, accompanied by the dignitaries that will lay wreath this morning to the cenotaph. The cenotaph is the place where the main activities will take place. This is a time we have been waiting for, a solemn time, a time we recognize and respect the fallen heroes of this great country, Nigeria. A time we pay due allegiance to the fallen heroes who have redeemed mankind from the devastation of the barrel of the gun. Excellencies, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, very senior officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, that movement by the firing party presaged the next item on our program event, which is the last post. The last post is a bugle call used in military funerals and ceremonies to commemorate those killed in action. This custom dates back to the 17th century, and its usage during Remembrance Day has two unexpressed purposes. First, it is to imply summoning the spirit of the fallen heroes to the cenotaph. And secondly, it is to symbolically end the activities of the day. Therefore, the last post will be sounded here at the occasion of the year 2026 Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade in honor of our fallen heroes who paid the supreme price for our dear country, Nigeria. Your Excellencies, may I now request our dignitaries to please rise for the last post. 7 officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you. Dignitaries.
All right, just a slight glitch there from the signal from the National Arcade, but surely would we reconnect with them, and we can do it now.
Colonel Reverend B.P. Nyam, followed by the Director, Air Force Islamic Affairs, Group Captain H. Idris, and finally, the Director, Chaplain Services, Roman Catholic Navy Captain, Very Reverend Father R.C. Diala.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we've come before you today with hearts of gratitude and solemn remembrance of our gallant men and women of the Nigerian Armed Forces who have laid down their lives in defense of our great nation. We thank you for their courage, loyalty, sacrifice, and service to peace, unity, and integrity of our nation. Merciful Father, we commit their souls into your hands and care. Grant them everlasting rest, and let your perpetual light shine upon them. May their sacrifice never be forgotten. May their blood speak peace, justice, and unity for Nigeria. Lord, we leave before you their families which they left behind. Comfort them in their grief. Strengthen them in their lost and supply all their needs. Let them experience honor, support, and gratitude of a nation that remembers and values their sacrifice. We pray for all serving personnel of the Nigerian Armed Forces, be their shield and defender in every theater of operation. Grant them courage, wisdom, discipline, and unity to preserve their lives. Frustrate every evil plan against them. Return them safely to their homes. Heavenly Father, we commit the President and all leaders of our nation, both civil and military, into your hands. Grant them wisdom, courage, integrity to lead with justice, compassion, and accountability. Grant their decisions, guide their decisions to strengthen national security, promote unity, and uphold the dignity of every Nigerian. O Lord, we cry out to you concerning the insecurity of our land. Arise and let every form of terrorism, banditry, insurgency, kidnapping, and every form of violence be put to end. Expose those who are involved. Disarm those who are armed. And every perpetrator, Lord, of violence, may they be destroyed. Turn their hearts away from evil, or remove every capacity in them to harm the innocent. Let peace and safety return to our communities, our roads, our farms, and our cities. Heal our land and restore our hope, O Lord. Let righteousness and justice prevail and establish Nigeria as a nation under your sovereign rule. This we pray through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Alhamdulillah ala ala'i wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wahdahu la sharika lahu fi ardihi wa sama'i wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu wa katimu anbiya'i. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. O Allah, the most compassionate, the most gracious, we come to you seeking your guidance, your mercy, and your blessings as we celebrate the Armed Forces Remembrance Day 2026 in your name, committing the Nigerian Armed Forces to your divine care. And O Allah, I appeal to you to forgive and have mercy upon our fallen heroes, and to bestow special grace on our veterans, members of the Nigerian Armed Forces who dedicated their lives to peaceful coexistence of our nation, who sacrificed their dear lives for the defense of territorial integrity of our nation and African community at large, and even contributed their quotas to the peace of world over. I implore you, O Allah, to make paradise to be their abode and to continue to care for their family members, being their absolute guide into the right way and being their absolute guardian into prosperity. I implore you, O Allah, to bestow on members of the Nigerian Armed Forces happiness that calm their hearts, courage enough to face our challenges, and achievements that raise our relevance in the security sector of the nation. I appeal to you, O Allah, to continue to guide, continue to strengthen, to continue to support, and to continue to protect Mr. President and all our leaders at all levels of command and authority. O Allah, make our leaders upright in discharge of their responsibilities. I appeal to you, O Allah, to continue to increase Nigeria in useful resources of man, management, and material. May you continue to increase Nigeria in safety and security, in peace, progress, and prosperity. As we fall out of this parade, O Allah, return all to our destinations, safe, secure, and peaceful. In the name of Allah, I prayed.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O God of nations, God of mercy, God of history, we stand before this sacred arcade today, and we lay this wreath not merely as a symbol, but as a vow. We remember the known and the unknown, the named and the unnamed, the brave whose stories ended in silence so that Nigeria might live. Lord, receive our fallen heroes into your eternal light. Comfort every widower, every orphan, every wounded soul. Let their tears not be wasted. And now, O God, heal Nigeria. Heal our anger with understanding. Heal our divisions with one patriotic love. Heal corruption with conscience. Heal fear with true security. Heal despair with just leadership and honest work. Let peace rise in our streets. Let truth stand in our offices. Let discipline return to our homes. Let unity be stronger than tribe, tongue, and religion. Let the blood they shed for our nation never be in vain, but forever bind us together. And to the armed forces, grant courage with restraint, strength with compassion, power with integrity. May the wreath we lay today become a future, and may the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in perfect peace. And may you bless our country, Nigeria, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Dignitaries, shall we all please rise to observe a minute silence in honor of the fallen heroes? Thank you. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, that was the firing of the artillery gun. Our dignitaries, you may now please take your seats. Thank you. Your Excellencies, sir, very senior officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving to one of the major highlights for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade, which is the laying of the wreath. Your Excellencies, sir, distinguished Nigerians, the first known wreath-laying ceremony to honor unknown soldiers dates back to the Peloponnesian Wars in ancient Greece, where an empty stretcher was carried in tribute to the dead. The wreath-laying ceremony involves the placing of flowers at a memorial site in the military. This is done at the tomb of the unknown soldier. This solemn ritual has continued to be observed globally till date. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade wreath-laying ceremony will be conducted in the following order of arrangement. The first to lay the wreath is His Excellency the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. May I now most respectfully and dutifully request the Commander Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Adebisi Olusegun Onosonya, to please invite the Vice President to lead dignitaries for the wreath-laying ceremony. The Commander, sir. At the moment, the Vice President is proceeding to lay the wreath. This is a time of solemnity, the time we recognize and respect the fallen heroes of our great country, Nigeria. This is a time we pay due allegiance to the fallen heroes who have redeemed mankind from the devastation of the barrel of the gun. This is the time we pay our respect to the heroes who have laid down their lives for our dear country, Nigeria. And as the band plays funeral music, abide with me to commemorate the solemnity of this precious moment. Next to lay the wreath are the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, and the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu. As the President of the Senate and the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, proceeding to lay their wreath, the band is playing a music titled Up From the Grave to commemorate the solemnity of this very moment. Next to lay the wreath is the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Her Lordship Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. At the moment, she is proceeding to lay her wreath, and the band is playing a music titled Peace, Perfect Peace. Next to lead the wreath are the Honorable Minister of Defense, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, retired Officer of the Order of the Niger, and the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Abbas Ibrahim Salahuddin, High Commissioner of the Republic of Cameroon. Next to lead the wreath are the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede, Armed Forces Medal, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Kevin Aneke, and the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun. Next to lead the wreath are the Chairman, National Council of Nigerian Legion, Grace Morenike Henry, and representatives of the widows, Mrs. Cynthia Dusu, LLB. Mrs. Cynthia was wife to Major General A.L. Dusu, who up till his death was the Commandant, Nigerian Army School of Artillery, Kachia. As they are proceeding to lay their wreath, the band is playing a music titled, God Be With You Till We Meet Again. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, very senior officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the National Arcade, Abuja, for the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. The wreath-laying ceremony had just been concluded. We shall now move to the next item on our program, which is the firing of the volleys. Your Excellency, sir, the firing of the volleys is a ceremonial act performed at military funerals. A quick reminder once again to our dignitaries not to panic at the sound of the guns, as this is a tradition for a ceremony of this kind. May I now request that we all please rise for the firing of the volleys. Officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished invited guests, senior officers, that was the firing of the volleys. Dignitaries, you may now please take your seats. Thank you. We shall now move to the next item on our program of events, which is the Reveille. Your Excellency, sir, in military traditions, the British version of the Reveille is used to conclude a period of silent reflection during solemn occasions like Australian and New Zealand Army Corps Day or Remembrance Day services, symbolizing resurrection and the transition from sunset to sunrise. Today, at the event of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade, the Reveille will be sounded to signify the last respect in honor of the fallen heroes. Once again, Your Excellencies, shall we all please rise for the Reveille? 7 officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you. Dignitaries, you may now please take your seats. Thank you. That was the Reveille sounded to pay the last respect in honor of our fallen heroes. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigerians, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed to the next highlight for today's solemn event, which is the release of the pigeons. May I yet again dutifully request the Commander Guards Brigade to please invite the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, to please release the pigeons. Please, the dignitaries to accompany the Vice President are those that laid the wreath earlier, while the rest of our invited guests and dignitaries are to please remain seated. Thank you.
Let me go, let him come in. You can swap position if you want. Come out. Hey!
The pigeons had been released, and as they fly away, it is hoped that our beloved country will indeed continue to experience long-lasting peace and prosperity. The Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is now proceeding to the saluting dais to take the salute before his departure, which will signify the end of the activities for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. May I yet again remind our dignitaries that as the national anthem is being played, we are all expected to rise, while officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you.
I will send him. Call me. Come on. Go watch it.
Dignitaries, shall we all please rise for the national anthem? Officers and warrant officers in uniform are to please salute. Thank you.
I tell him. He said to note it.
received permission from the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to march off the colors and the rest of the parade. The Vice President is now exchanging pleasantries with the dignitaries before his departure, which will signify the end of the activities for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. To avoid congestion, we are please requested to allow the Vice President to depart before we all take our leave. Thank you. As the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria departs, on behalf of the National Planning Committee for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade, officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Legion, I wish to thank you all for honoring our invitation to be part of today's historic event. From the commentary desk, I remain my humble self, Lieutenant O.I. Olawi, and with me is Colonel O.A. Adebanjo, retired. Together we wish you journey mercies to your respective destinations, and we hope to see you again the year 2027 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade. Thank you.
Hey, and that was the celebration and remembrance of armed forces from the National Arcade, where Vice President Kashim Shettima led other government officials in the lane of wreath and the performance of other rituals synonymous with January 15, which is done every year to remember our fallen heroes and those still in active service and those who have retired. This is the Nigerian Television Authority. It's been a remarkable transmission over the last 1 hour thereabouts with Major General Abdulmalik Jibrin in the studio here in Abuja, and also General Jonathan Temlong out there in just weighing in and bringing in their views on how to make things better concerning the issues around veterans and those who have served Nigeria, particularly on a day like this, January 15. Yes, as we see the Vice President and other officials departing the National Arcade for other business of governance, let's continue our conversation here in the studio and also with General Temlong. In just spending the time, our colleagues out there from the National Arcade will be giving us some interviews. Let me come back to you, General Jibrin, sir. If we look at today, like we say every year, it has come and it has gone. But something sounds unique. But before I bring you into that, Ismail Musa, I think I heard the director well enough. Ismail Musa out there is now ready to give us some interviews concerning this particular day and what makes it unique. I can actually sing with Olajide Bello, another defense correspondent out there.
Okay, Ayo, it has been quite educative, entertaining for the past 1 hour, observing the activities marking the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. They said whatever has a beginning also have an end. It has been interesting. Let me hear from Olajide what has been his observations for the event.
All right, many thanks, Ismail. Just like he said, it has been a colorful and eventful day, and of course, this is the climax of the whole Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day that kickstarted like a week ago. And as the Vice President has taken the last salute, it is left for the service chiefs here to disperse the color party and their enzymes. I'll hand you over back to Ismail so that we can sign out from here and come back to the office. Ismail?
Okay, thank you. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all members of the crew and look forward to be here again, God's willing, next year. Thank you, and have a good day.
Well, thanks so much, Ismail Musa. I was nearly tempted to call you the GOC of the newsroom. I just said it, actually. But thanks for the contribution from the National Arcade, and my regards to everyone out there.
Thank you very much. I'll do that.
All right. Back in the studio here with General Abdulmalik Jibrin, I was trying to establish something the other time. The day has come and gone, like we do every year. Now, something stands unique this year because now it's no longer about remembrance, it's about celebration. Now, let's have, what could have been the rationale behind renaming, giving it a new name? Is it more like an old wine in a new bottle or a new wine in an old bottle?
No. Okay. Actually, there's nothing new. I think that it's the restatement is just bringing two aspects very clearly, which were subsumed earlier on. Celebration, just as my senior colleague explained early in the interview, celebration in the sense celebrating the day 15 January 1970 when the Civil War ended. It marks a day of celebration. Then remembrance, that is to say commemorating those who have made the supreme sacrifice, those who have retired, those who have died. So we are remembering them on this very day. So you are now bringing the ceremony, the jubilation of the cessation of the Nigerian Civil War, 15 January, and then marrying it up with the remembrance activity, which is a solemn occasion. So that's why it's now celebration and remembrance. So actually it has always been like that, but it has never been brought so clearly than now.
Thank you very much for clearing that and being specific in terms of the details concerning this new name. But let me bring in General Temlong in Jos. When we look at this day, we're kind of forced, actually, or compelled to look at how we can really bridge the gap in terms of civil-military relations. I was discussing the background with General Jibrin in the studio. Growing up on the streets of Ibadan, then when they tell you Baba Soja is coming, you nearly want to, enter the ground. But nowadays, they tell you a soldier is around, people look with disdain, they don't even treat them with respect. How do we really improve the level of civic education and ensure that our armed forces get the respect they deserve right from childhood, put it into the brains of the child at that early age?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I think it's quite beautiful and it's something that is thought-provoking. When you are growing up in Ibadan, and by the way, I served in Ibadan to around 77, 78, you see, the British government left a structure for Nigeria. There was proper upbringing and training then of citizens. And citizens knew their responsibilities and there was respect for the institutions and constituted authority. Parents were part of those respect. People respected their parents and elders. The normative social order in Nigeria then was built on the respect for institutions, for elders, and for constituted authorities. In fact, growing up, a single policeman will go into a whole settlement or village, and then blow his whistle, and everybody in that community will come out to assist him to arrest a criminal. And where the criminal is trying to offer violence, the policeman is saved first, because we were told that the crown that he was wearing was the queen's crown. And that crown should not touch the ground. So everybody will try to stop and prevent that crown that this policeman was wearing on his head from touching the ground and help arrests. So citizens were doing citizens arrests. So there was quite a lot of respect even for the policemen. That was day-to-day interaction with the citizens. Now when the soldiers came out, there were more respect and they were feared too, because it was believed that soldiers were the ultimate, the last hope or strength of the state. And once they are called out, the situation has gone out of hand, and there was ultimate solution. They were bringing out solution. So even the citizens themselves respected the soldiers. They were blind, even them saying anything. So we had what we used to call show of force. Once the soldiers appear on the streets, citizens will know that there is something wrong, and they will start whipping those who are trying to bring trouble into line and say, look, don't do anything, or soldiers are out and they are going to crush you. So that respect was there. So it started with the citizens themselves. So citizens knew that they had to respect the institution of state. Today, you know that the institution of state has gone. You see the president or a governor running on a street, and people are crashing him here and there. You see accidents happening with convoys. But growing up, when the Sedona visited Lantang in 1965, November, all lined the streets. In fact, for 2 days, we were lining the street because there was no communication until he came, and we just waved our flags, little tiny children, and he's just spent about how many minutes at the local government secretariat, and then he went off. We were happy that we received our leader. Today, you don't see that. One, the leadership too itself has lost touch with the citizens. And two is that there has been a breakdown of the social order. So we must regain our society. We must get back Nigeria. We must get back our citizens. And we must get our institutions to work the way it's supposed to work. The way people in government sometimes see themselves as not as servants is never done. Civil servants or society, everybody was seen as servant then. So I think we need to get back those things. And this has to be with a deliberate training program that starts from the home to the schools and right up to the society. So it has to be a deliberate thing, catch them young. And then the state will have to be seen as serving the people. So I think that's some of the reasons why you are seeing some of these problems. And again, it behoves on the soldiers to get back themselves and get their respect to where there are miscreants within them, which they have been doing. They have been cleaning the system without making noise about it. But then they need to actually, in fact, until today, if there are crises in the cities, you see people running to military barracks more than any other place because they believe they are safer there. So all these ones that you see, the miscreants, those who don't want to be whipping, disrespecting authorities because they are criminals. But the normal citizens, you see them running straight to where the military is to take refuge. And they are usually protected and taken care of. So I think it's a very germane question that you ask, but there are certain things that we must do to put our society back in line, because these are things that a child growing up in America or in UK or in Europe knows what he is supposed to do. You don't even tell him when to make a phone call that he has seen a suspicious person in an environment. If there is a bomb blast, anything around that area, the first call he makes is to his parents to say he's alive. He's somewhere. Ours is that people are running to the incident scene, either to loot or to even start taking photographs and start throwing them out in the social media. And then a secondary explosion comes and you see more casualties. So these are things that have to be trained. People have to be trained that once there is that sort of situation, the security will cordon it. You usually see a yellow tape round, and nobody goes there again because you want to hold the integrity of the incident space for you to take up evidences. But they are tampered with by citizens, looting, people don't care, who have lost our humanity. The first thing is that they snap people who are dead, who are writhing in pains, to be thrown out in the social media. It's terrible. We need to get back our society and our humanity. Ayo.
General Temlong, this is well articulated and well put in perspective. General, this is quite disturbing. Some issues raised there by General Temlong about the need for improvements in civic education, what people should do, citizens' responsibility. Let me have your own perspective. He talked about the fast evading lines of security. When there's any form of security threat or challenge, the first place people think of is the barracks, not the police.
Yes.
Not in most cases, like we see. Now, how do we really set things right in terms of specification in the security architecture of the country so that people play their roles, citizens know what to do, and collectively, the armed forces can get more respect it deserves?
Yes. Thank you very much. Just as my senior colleague said, General Temlong, actually part of the problem is the over-employment of the military into what would ordinarily have been the responsibility of the police. So you find that day in, day out, soldiers are brought in where they are not supposed to be, where the police is supposed to act, a soldier is brought in. And that has gradually degraded and worn out the respect that the citizens has for the military and that fear you talked about. And then sensitization of the general public towards responsibility of each citizen will start with a public enlightenment. It's absurd when there is an accident, other explosion or car, diesel or tanker explosion, you see people rushing to the scene instead of staying away. And that, what do you call it, the
weather has been cordoned off.
Weather, the area had to be cordoned in order to preserve any evidence. By the time an intruder and somebody from outside the scene gets in there, he will tamper with evidence, and that in itself will be a problem for the police, who invariably, or the security agencies who invariably need to get all the nitty-gritty of what it takes to establish exactly what happened in that place. Now, without sensitization, without public enlightenment, our citizens will behave like, with due respect, like we are not ordinary human beings. Because it's only somebody who has lost his mind will be rushing to a place where there is an explosion, will be rushing to where petrol tanker has exploded and start scooping petrol, knowing that the chances are 99.9 that there will be fire incident there. That means fire will catch because of the inflammability of the product. But you find people rushing to that place. So is it, one can find it difficult. One cannot say it is poverty. Poverty that will make you to go and start scooping or endanger your life by rushing to where there is an explosion. Recently, the incident of the strike against terrorists in the Northwest, you see the video that was viral, locals sitting on unexploded bombs. These are, one would be wondering, are we sane? Are we sane? So what am I saying? Public enlightenment sensitization is a key towards enlightening and educating the general public on their civic responsibilities. And without that, we'll continue to witness this kind of incidents.
All right, General, I want you to speak more on this particular issue. It's a recurring decimal almost every year, and I will bring in General Temlong as well to talk on this. The issue of welfare, particularly for veterans, the armed forces, those who have served, non-commissioned officers in particular, and to a large extent, even commissioned officers, senior principal officers who are no longer in active service. You'd still see in them the willingness to serve, even though they are retired. But how can we get a proper welfare package for them beyond the assurances and promises of government?
Well, it's very, very important question. And this has been lingering, and we have made effort in one of the committees that I serve with General Temlong, reviewing the armed forces of Nigeria, and recommendation certain aspects that will touch the welfare aspect of the service personnel, including the retired. It is what you get while you are in service that when you even retire, it's a reflection of what you'll be getting after retirement. Looking at the inflationary tendencies of the economy, we thank God there is an improvement, drastic improvement in inflation. It's going down. You find that our pension, the pension of a retiree, we all go to the same market. Other retired soldier or retired civil servant, we all go to the same market. You find that our take home cannot meet off our requirement. Cannot meet off our requirement. So what I suggest, and which I think has been captured in one of the recommendations we made in that reform committee, is that there will be a corresponding increase in our pension vis-a-vis the inflationary tendencies in the society. That's the only way you can now check to make sure that a retiree, after leaving service, will still live a comfortable life, will still be able to access health care and other facilities to be able to maintain his dignity and that of his family. So there must be a concerted effort to ensure that our pension, anytime there is an increase in salary, our pension is correspondingly also adjusted to reflect the purchasing power of the economy. So that's one very important factor that we need to do.
Okay, let me bring in General Temlong as we round off conversation on this program. On your thoughts about improved welfare packages for veterans. And would you actually support the call that a day like this should be a national public holiday in honor of those who have paid the ultimate price for the country?
Thank you very much. I think I will support that, because looking at the situation where the sort of apathy that the population has towards this day, I think to ingrain it into our psyche, we need to put this day as a national public holiday and to encourage the participation of the public. If you look at that arcade now, even though it's restricted, but how many of our citizens are there to watch all this thing, or how many are glued on their TV watching online? In the States, if you look at it, the participation in the States are virtually just the armed forces and the retired people. If you go to the local governments, nothing is happening. So I think we need to do that to eke it, and it becomes, if it's a bank holiday, it becomes something very important. And that is part of the welfare package you are talking about, because if I understand that I'm being appreciated for the services I rendered for this country, And if I know that if I die in action, the country will still remember me and my services, that my children and my widow will be taken care of by the state, a grateful state. It will be a greater impetus for me to give in my all. So I think that those are some of the important things that we need to do. And let me, before I round up properly, is to thank President Bola Tinubu administration. You know, something that has started in 1998 after the defeat of the rebels in Sierra Leone and the restatement of Tijankava, and the various subsequent officers applied for land, veterans applied for land at the FCT. This kept lingering on until the President Bola Tinubu administration, where the Special Trust Scheme, SVP, was approved, and over 1,000 officers now have been allocated land in the FCT, including the widows of those who have actually paid the supreme sacrifice and the rest. And where even the widows are late too, the next of kin have been allocated those lands. And I think we need to commend the president and the minister of the FCT for doing this. It has to be cascaded down to the states and local government too, where you see that veterans are assisted in getting land where they can actually build retirement homes or invest in. That is a very important thing, because shelter is quite important. If you know that you have a shelter that you can retire to, or your family can retire to when you are no more there, it's an assurance from where they can start. So we need to commend that. We need to go beyond, like my colleague has said. Look, we need to make sure that are we receiving a living wage or a minimum wage? Are our pension enough? If you look at our age, and if you look at the trauma we went through, over half of our emoluments are used on drugs. Absolutely. Buying expensive hypertensive, buying expensive diabetics. You know, those with glaucoma now, sometimes they spend over 70,000 a month for drugs. If you want to put eye drops that are proper, and the operations are quite expensive, they are not covered sometimes by the insurance scheme. And so you need to take this into account. And that's why you find out that abroad, the hospitals of the veterans are better equipped to handle some of these geriatric problems and then the traumatic situations that they're going to. So I think looking at the salaries, and sometimes it's observed when you start comparing military ranks or with some civilian appointments, it's never done. It's only in Nigeria where you say this rank is equivalent to a director, this rank is equivalent to a PAMSEC. It's never done like that, because what we go through and what we do, what we are trained, the risk we go through are not the same with somebody who sits down in the office throughout his time and gets to a permanent secretary and the rest. So I think we need to go beyond that. And so these are sort of things that we need. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I believe that going forward, NTA, you are doing a great job for us, and we appreciate you for all that you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Temlong. It's been interesting conversing with you. I just hold on for a while as a round of conversation here in the studio with General Abdul Malik too. General Temlong has spoken. He's addressed so many issues. Now, as we move forward into the 2027 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, what are the unique things you would like to see improve beyond the welfare package going into 2027?
Well, I want to see a complete departure from the way and manner the veterans' activities are being embraced by the general public. I would like a complete departure in the area of civil responsibility and contribution toward the welfare of veterans by non-state actors. I mean, organizations, individuals who are well-to-do, who have a lot to contribute for the upkeep and well-being of veterans and their families. That's what I want to see in the year 2027 by the grace of God.
And we are optimistic that this will become a reality. Sure. Major General Abdulmalik Jibrin, I'd like to thank you for your time. Major General Abdulmalik Jibrin is the immediate past national chairman, Nigerian Legion, and currently Secretary, Civil Defense, Immigration and Prison Service Board. He has joined us on this special broadcast of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. And also appreciation out there in Jos City to General Jonathan Temlong, the first commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, and former president, Alumni Association of National Defense College, and is also a security consultant. Generals, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Always my pleasure, Ayo. Thank you very much for having me, and thank MTA for doing this great job for us.
Yes.
God bless you all.
Okay. All right, our parting words. As we move into the year 2027, looking forward to 2027 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Remember, anywhere you see a veteran, show them some love, show them some respect. They deserve it every day, every time. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'd like to thank you. But before we go, remember, we've been able to package a pictorial representation of the evolution of the Nigerian Army. You'd enjoy it. I bet it. Bye-bye.